Hello YouTube! Guess what? Time for a Transformers reveal unboxing. I promised you another one a while back during my last video. I forget who it was for. And then Christmas happened. And this is the first time I've ever had a job where I was home for the 2-week break. Everybody else was home, so it was a busy time. There was lots going on, even though there was nothing to do. But I just found that I never really got an opportunity to have this room to myself and have the time to myself when I wanted to do it. So we took I bet it's almost been a month since I did a Transformers reveal, so or more maybe. But I'm back, and hopefully now it's going to be more consistent week to week. And this one today is one that kind of showed up over the break. So it wasn't on the roster of upcoming reveals, but it is now. So this character it's a Decepticon, and it's one of the OG characters, but kind of one that flies under the radar. So and it's also a 3-for-1. It's a triple threat. So before I get you more confused than you probably already are, let's just tell you who it is. It is the Decepticon Reflector. Reflector is actually combined of 3 robots, as you can see. The guy in the middle here is Viewfinder, and then there is Spectro and Spyglass. I'm not sure how you tell them apart. In the G1 toys, you can tell them apart because they're different colors and they look different. But in the cartoon, as you'll see in the upcoming clips, and their G1 representation here, they all kind of look the same, other than Viewfinder, who's got the camera lens in his chest. So they're kind of generic that way in terms of looking alike. So these 3 robots combine to form a camera, actually. Yes, exhilarating, isn't it? And this is one of those robots that really, it's funny when you read the boards about Transformers characters and the scaling of the toys and yada yada, people always talk about, well, how does Megatron, he's a big robot, but he shrinks down into a tiny gun that Starscream can fire, or like Reflector, it's 3 big robots that transform and shrink down into a little camera. And that's kind of the magic of Transformers, right? Just don't think about it. I forget what they call the term, but there's some sort of actual term for how a big robot can shrink down into a tiny object or something like that. There's some sort of scientific Transformer-ish type term that they use to describe that process as a real kind of thing, right? So anyways, that's kind of what's going on with Reflector. We got 3 robots that shrink down and combine to form a camera. Now, what is the purpose of Reflector in camera mode? Well, he is the art of observation and espionage and reconnaissance sort of thing. So he, with his camera, he's able to take pictures and document things, and this is not only used against the Autobots, but he can also use it to blackmail fellow Decepticons and monitor the comings and goings of his comrades, and use any indiscretions, let's say, to his own advantage and whatnot. So he's kind of not playing both sides, but he won't not sell out one of his comrades to further his own ends and raise himself in the ranks, sort of thing. You know what I mean? So anyways, let's Reflector, I said, like, he is OG off the arc, but he flies under the radar. There's not really any episodes devoted to Reflector. He doesn't really factor in all that much into many of the episodes. So I found that it was really kind of difficult to find any real good clips of him. So these 2 clips that are combined together are actually from the very first Transformers episode, More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, and just kind of showcases him in his camera mode, doing reconnaissance, as well as kind of in robot mode, fighting off Prowl, I think it is, during a battle, transferring energon cubes, and of course beating a hasty retreat when the Decepticons are outgunned. So without further ado, let's roll said clips.
I can't believe the Autobots survived.
Neither can Megatron. I thought he'd blow a fuse when he found out. Hey, what's that?
Let's find out.
Okay, Reflector. Let's see what you can see. Thundercracker to Soundwave. Thundercracker to Soundwave. Proceed, Thundercracker. Alien vehicle approaching. Possible Autobot.
It's the Autobots!
Decepticons, transform! Transform! Don't interfere, Prime! Give it up, Megatron! The universe is mine! So long, Prime! Have a nice swim! Here's something to keep you warm!
So, like I said, not much going on there in terms of content, but you kind of get a basic vibe for, you know, he's got a real cool voice, right? You saw him shrink down, 3 robots go into the camera mode, you saw him fighting and whatnot, so that's Reflector for you. Now, I mentioned the G1 toy earlier. I acquired one of these guys. I think it's Spectro. Back in the day, I must have traded him to somebody for something else, but like I said, I only have one of the 3. And the G1 toy is vastly different from how he was represented in the cartoon. They really made each character stand out compared to the others. So without, again, further ado, let's have a look at those G1 toys. So you see what I mean. The G1 toys are vastly different from how he looks in the cartoon, and I think it's used to tell the characters apart, basically. You can see Viewfinder, the main guy with the shutter in his body. He's a lot, well, not a lot bigger, but he's definitely bigger than the other 2. And then the other 2 look a little more alike, but still with a bit of different detailing here and there, different colors, that sort of thing. So you can really distinguish the characters in the G1 toy. And versus kind of all these guys looking the same, which is the way they're supposed to look from the cartoon. So, but yeah, that being said, like I said, I only had one of the G1 toys, but now I've got all 3 of an even better toy. So let's crack them out of the box and see what they look like. Reflector. Let's get him out. And you may notice the writing on the box, but this is the company that did this one is Keith's Fantasy Club, KFC Toys. So I have had 2 characters from this brand previously. Blaster, the Autobot tape deck was the first one, and the second one was more recently. That was the Junkion Warrior, the guy that turned into the motorcycle. So those are the 2 that are from this same company. Get off my finger there. And now we will see. I've been kind of excited for this one because it's kind of like a combiner, right? Like 3 guys in one sort of thing. So I thought he was going to be pretty interesting. So as per the usual, instruction booklet. Doesn't look that thick. Hopefully it's not that complicated. I'm hoping these aren't going to be a complicated transform. you never know, but got some sort of purple piece here in its own separate bag. And then we got the 3 character cards. Slightly different poses, all holding energon cubes, if you will. And then for the actual toy, here they are. You got the first guy. And below him comes the the end of the scope of the camera. So this guy's obviously viewfinder. He's got the thing in the middle of his chest. The viewfinder, if you will. No, he's going down. And then whatever this is, the flash or whatever that goes on top, something like that. The little camera in mode so you can give him to a character like he's using it. And then looks like a tripod for the camera. And of course the third and final guy. So, pretty good molds. They look pretty, close to that G1 vibe. So, so far so good. Everything looks great. So let's hopefully get them transformed, put them into camera mode, and we'll see what that looks like also. So there you have it, Reflector. And I gotta say, I really like these toys. Now, you'll see in the time lapse, I wasn't able to get them into camera mode. If I kept pressing, I have a feeling I would have eventually got it, but the way the instructions worked is that they came in robot mode, but the instructions had them in camera mode and then showed the transformation process to get them into robot mode. And it just said, reverse the instructions to do it the other way. Well, easier said than done sometimes, right? So it was going fine at first, and then I got to the legs and some parts weren't moving, and I was like, is that really what I'm supposed to do? So I was like, you know what, before I break something and get frustrated or whatever, do we really need to see the camera mode anyways? Debatable. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna cut my losses and keep these guys pristine in their robot modes, which is how I'm gonna have them on the shelf anyways. And yeah, so that was that. But of the 3 KFC toys I've got so far, I think so far these ones, I won't say that they're my favorite because Blaster's my favorite because I really love the Blaster character and he's so cool, but these are the best quality ones of the 3 so far. Not quite a bit, but definitely some die cast parts in these characters. They look really genuine to the original G1 characters, and they also seem really tight and well put together. So these just seem like a really quality figure. Not that the other ones weren't, but these were better than the other ones by a small degree. So I really enjoy kind of the way these ones were put together. And even in the instructions I saw that there are some batteries that go in the main guy viewfinder, I guess, and this lights up in his chest, and it also, when you have it in camera mode and you press one of the buttons to take the picture, it actually has like a click or something like that. So there is a bit of electronic stuff involved with some extra features and stuff like that. So, but overall, very happy with the figures. Not that upset that I wasn't able to get it transformed, but that's happened a few times now. I don't get that broken up about it because, like I said, I keep them in robot mode, and these aren't toys I'm going to be playing with, like that I'm going to be transforming back and forth 100 times because that makes them loose and risks breakage and stuff like that. And that's not what these are for. These are more for just having on the shelf, looking at them, taking them down, looking them over every once in a while, and just generally being happy that I have these Transformers figures because they make me happy. So yeah, that was it. That's Reflector. That's Viewfinder, and then Spectro and Spyglass, whichever is which. They're identical, so it doesn't really matter. So hope you enjoyed. And next week, I'm trying to think of what's coming next. It's going to be something related to a previous character I did maybe 4 5 videos ago, somewhere in that range. So yeah, a little link to a past character that I'm going to be doing next week. So I'll leave you on that bit of a cliffhanger for next time. But in the meantime, stay warm, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.